Thanks for joining us for the Executive Series. Today I'm talking to Lawrence Bainham, who is the CEO of Data#3 Limited. Lawrence, good to talk to you.
Thanks, Tom.
Let's talk about your recently reported results. NPAT was up by 34% for the period, revenue up by 11%. So there's a couple of segments to your business. You offer services anywhere from security to analytics and the cloud. Where's the growth coming from?
The growth is generally across the board, and as you said, we grew our revenue. We're very pleased to grow our revenue in the first half by 10% and gain some leverage in our cost base with the 34% net profit after tax. The revenues generally in some of the markets are generally mixed across the regions that we operate within, right across Australia. We were very pleased with the growth that we've seen in New South Wales in particular. The service lines that we've seen growth in has been the security market. But generally speaking, our strategic move and our strategic priority is to increasingly move to an increasingly services business and services related business. And the fastest growing sector in the services business is cloud services. And we were very pleased with that growth for the first half, and that's a continuation of the two previous years.
Indeed. So I suppose in the SME segment, sometimes it takes a little while longer for traction to get going in relation to particular ideas. So how is the cloud being accepted by that group?
Generally, it's well accepted by the SME sector. We tend to operate predominantly outside of the SME sector. We still have a lot of customers that would consider themselves to be mid-sized, and for customers that are just starting out or greenfield type customers, really it's a no-brainer decision to actually start in the cloud. For those that have their own systems and have their own applications, which they've built for many years, and some of the larger enterprise customers and government customers that we have, they operate in very much a mixed environment, and increasingly they are moving towards cloud-based and in particular public cloud. But right now it is a growth in public cloud, a hybrid cloud environment that they operate within, and also utilising their own infrastructure on-premise as well. So it's very much mixed. And what we're seeing and where we position ourselves is across all of that spectrum and offer the advice and guidance and support for our customers to move increasingly to a cloud.
Indeed. And so what are the priorities for growth that you see for Data#3 over the course of the next couple of years?
Well, this last reporting period is the fifth consecutive profit growth that we've seen, so we're absolutely delighted with that. So we want the sustainable growth, and obviously our shareholders would be very keen to see that continuing. The priorities are really around our strategic priorities, increasingly the services, and it's not services for services' sake or cloud for cloud's sake. We are looking to gain better profit margins. So our revenues are not necessarily the greatest indicator. The margins are really where we're focusing a lot of our attention. Of course, revenues are important because they're indicating that we're gaining market share, but that's very nice. But what we're very pleased with is the leverage that we're getting in the margins.
Well, that's a good point that you make in relation to market share, because it is to an extent disintegrated, the marketplace that you operate in. Is that a trend that you're seeing increasingly, that there is a consolidation going on within the sector?
Well, there's certainly a consolidation that's taking place in the sector for national organisations of our size, and whereas a number of years ago we were one of maybe 6 or 7 organisations, today there are very, very few, and a number have been acquired or have consolidated into larger groups. We find ourselves that presents itself a market opportunity for ourselves, because once our traditional competitors have been acquired by larger groups, they tend not to focus on the areas that we're in. So we see that as a window of opportunity which we've capitalised on, and that's one of the reasons for some of the recent growth as well.
Okay. So within that trend, though, sometimes you can see a bit of margin pressure. Is there any evidence of that?
Yeah, we operate with margin pressure for many years, and we're quite used to that margin pressure. Where we need to be is one step ahead, and predicting the market is almost like gazing into a crystal ball.
Yes.
And in particular, one of the fastest growing markets in terms of the IT sector, it's a very difficult task. What I'm really pleased with, though, is that the quality of the people that we have within our organisation are really, they're very much the experts in their field, and we have maintained ourselves and adapted as the market continually changes, and we've adapted one step ahead of the market. And so that's really down to the expertise of our people.
And Lawrence, is there anything else that you'd like to say?
Yeah, absolutely, Tom. At the tail end of last year, we were delighted to have won an award, and it's the first time that we've won an award for the Australian Investor Relations Award. And it was an ASX emerging companies sector. And one of the reasons for that award obviously goes across our investor relations spectrum as well. But one of the factors is actually the CommSec Executive Series, so I actually wanted to personally thank you.
Lawrence, that's great recognition from you, but it's great to have been a small part of Data3's success.
Thank you.
And thanks for joining us for the Executive Series.